This is something that happened to me over 10 years ago, and my brother remembers this better than I do since he's just shy of 2 years older than me. To preface the story, my parents got separated when I was about 5 years old, and my dad moved out shortly after but stayed in my hometown so that he could still see us. One day my dad had one of his friends over, we'll call him Frank. He was pale, with light-colored curly hair, and well out of the shape, though he would describe him well. Anyway, the day goes by with nothing odd happening, but I did notice that my brother didn't want to be around Frank. I, however, being younger, was much more innocent. One weekend, Frank came over again and I told my dad that I wanted to wrestle with him being my dad. However, my dad wasn't able to for whatever reason. Instead, Frank said he would. I, being so young, thought it was awesome. Who didn't like to wrestle as a little boy? My brother, who I wrestled with all the time, however, would have nothing to do with it. When I returned back to my mom's house, my brother told her, and my mom, rightly so, freaked the fuck out. In my brother's word, this was one of the only times her freaking out has been justified. She called up my dad, I presume immediately, but can't recall. All I remember is her yelling into the phone that some weirdo shouldn't be wrestling with my boys. Frank returned to my dad's place, or vice versa, to visit and hang out. Whenever we did, he'd always want to wrestle with me, and a few times tickle me or whatever. Finally, my brother brought it up with my dad. He was about 8 or 9 at the time, and for reference, my brother's starting reading things like The Economist when he was 10, so he was always ahead intellectually, and he didn't let up until my dad caved. Finally, one day Frank came over and tried his usual thing. Wanting to have close physical contact with me, a young innocent boy, fucking creeper. My dad just goes, I don't think you should be playing with my sons anymore. After that, even though we still saw Frank, it wasn't nearly as often, and when we did, my dad would always allow myself and my brother to go off and do things on our own. However, when he would come over, he'd always be very friendly toward me but much more tepid toward my brother. I never understood that as a kid, but looking back on it, he was probably trying to groom me for molestation or something. Life moved on, and Frank got married or something and moved away. I'm glad he did too. All I can say is that when I have kids, I will be very selective as to who has physical contact with them, and to my dad's old friend Frank, let's not fucking meet, ever. Please, subscribe.